Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I'm Tom Matthews.
And I'm Joanne Toronto. Thanks for joining us this morning. Today, we have a great discussion planned for buyers getting their pre-commitment with their lender prior to finding the home of their dreams. So Tom, what is a pre-commitment and where does a buyer start to get one of those?
So a pre-commitment is one step further than the pre-approval letter. So in a normal real estate transaction, you go to the bank, they pull your credit, they review your income, your assets, and they issue you a pre-approval letter. Then you get an accepted offer, and at the purchase and sale time, you submit your full application. At the time of the full application, the bank reviews your tax statements. They make sure that you're squeaky clean and that you actually can buy this property. So we're in a super competitive market right now that is very unbalanced. Way more buyers than sellers. So we've been having a lot of buyers go ahead and get this pre-commitment letter or this commitment letter out there early. And that way it's only subject to an appraisal and then they can get their financing. So Joanne, how does this letter help buyers? How can it help make them a better buyer?
Well, I think the first thing that it does for a buyer is it gives them a sense of security. And that security is real. Because during the pre-commitment process, the underwriter is actually evaluating just in the same way that they would be evaluating if you already had an accepted offer. They're looking at your paperwork, your income, your assets, your liability, your credit score, and they're running through all of those things in detail so that all that's left is to find a property, give them a purchase and sale, and get an appraisal. So that sense of security can do wonders for buyers because with this competitive market, with the rates changing and so forth, having all of your ducks in a row and having already submitted all of your paperwork is going to streamline the process. It's more work for your loan officer to do this up front. So we only recommend that buyers who are truly committed, like ready to make offers, steadfast in their plan to secure a property, we only recommend those buyers go through this process. But generally speaking, people, when they make the commitment to buy a house, they're pretty serious about it. So it's usually a good time to head down and do the pre-commitment letter. It also gets a bunch of work out of the way, right? Because then you're not scrambling to find this, that, and the other thing. And you just keep updated. So if time goes by, you resubmit more bank statements, more pay stubs, and just keep it fresh. So that sense of security can go a long way. It also makes you a more competitive buyer. Tom,
Yes.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it gives the buyer the ability to say to the seller, because typically after the purchase and sale, you ask for a month to get your financing in order, and then you close. So in this scenario, we've heard of lenders being able to squish that time down to 7 days. Because if you're doing 20% or more down, maybe they can do a desk appraisal. They don't have to send an appraiser out, or they can waive the appraisal because you already have enough built-in equity. So you can condense the time. It also, for the appropriate buyer who is comfortable with the circumstances, can feel more confidently waiving their right to a financing contingency. It's not something that we often recommend because there's a lot of risk involved for a buyer. But if you've taken this step, it really makes you the strongest possible candidate for this practice. And it can give you a competitive advantage over some of the other buyers in the marketplace. People say, well, what's the con? Why wouldn't everyone do this? And one of the cons is that typically after you sign a purchase and sale, you have, let's say 7 days to go out and shop rates. When you get the pre-commitment, you've committed to a lender. That is the lender you're going to work with. So you don't have that option of shopping. And the other kind of con is that you're spending a little bit of money and you don't have a house lined up yet, because there is some cost to putting forward to get the pre-commitments, usually between $500 and $1,000. So you're putting some money up, but you don't have a house in front of you yet. So there's some cons to it. It may not be the right product for everybody, but it's a tool that we wanted to introduce. If you're in the market right now and you're losing houses, you've made offers, you've made 2 offers, 5 offers, 10 offers, and you're saying, what can I do to be a more competitive buyer? This is a tool and technique you can do.
Right. And it's all about just knowing what's out there, educating yourself, and deciding what's best for you as a buyer and relying on agents like Tom and I to guide you on other options. So we appreciate you joining us this morning for another edition of Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I'm Joanne Toronto.
And I'm Tom Matthews. Cheers.
Cheers.